Just kind of jump right into it. Aggravated assaults. We got really probably one big one that happened, and that was early this morning, about 4:30 a.m. It began. We had one of our victims was driving, and then there was a couple of other people in another car that I guess they know each other. That's probably the best way to describe that. While they were driving, the passenger in the second vehicle ends up being our suspect. He pointed a gun at the victim in the car. They drove and basically tried to lose them and ended up at their home, which is in the 6300 block of West Grove Place. And once they arrived, the suspect in that second car drove up and started firing a gun. There was quite a few people outside. Everybody ran inside. The people in that car left, and then about 15 minutes later, they returned, and that same person fired a gun several times, again at that same trailer home. They left after that. The victims called police, and then we were able to kind of figure out what vehicle they may have been in. An officer found that vehicle at 11th and Grange and ended up making an arrest. The passenger is the one that pointed the gun and fired the gun. He was arrested for aggravated assault, discharge of firearm at an occupied structure, and then abuse or cruelty to a minor. The driver was not believed to be involved or having taken part, and so was not arrested on that. There were a couple of young children in the car that we believe they were inside at the time of the shooting. In the home, we had a lot of teenagers. We had basically most of them were 15 to 17 years old, boys and girls. We did have a 2-year-old girl, 11-year-old girl, and then a couple of adults, a 20-year-old man, and then a 36-year-old woman that were all in the home. So all told, there were 10 people that were at the home when they fired the gun. Both the discharge of firearm at occupied structure and aggravated assault to account for all the different victims.
Do you have a suspect name on that?
Yep. So the man that was arrested is, last is Stewart, Stewart. First is Sheldon, Sheyne, and he's 18 from Sioux Falls.
So do we know what started this or how this began?
Basically, the suspect and at least one of the victims, if not several of the victims, know each other. So I think there's just some past history. I don't know that there was anything that necessarily sparked what happened early this morning, but it was basically just based off that past history.
And then it was all pretty much in one area, or where it started in one location?
Yeah, I don't have an exact area where it started. It just said that they were driving in Sioux Falls. So maybe kind of in the downtown area, but I don't have anything specific. They just said they were driving around, saw the suspect point the gun at them. They started trying to basically get back home, and then that's when the shooting took place.
I guess what I'm trying to piece together is, were they with each other before the incident took place?
I don't know. There's nothing in Sioux Falls? I don't know. There's nothing in the report that says what happened before that, so I don't know if they were together or in the same area or different areas. I don't know that. Other aggravated assaults, we had a few domestics, people that were cut with knives, strangulation case, somebody else was punched, another guy had a cut to his hand. Some of those people didn't really want to provide a whole lot of information or didn't have much information to share, but no arrests on any of those others, no life-threatening injuries on those. The assaults are all simple assaults. The burglaries, quite a few storage units that were entered, and then some apartments, no arrests on any of those. Counterfeiting, somebody tried to pass a fake bill, no arrests on that one yet. The disorderlies, a lot of reports, trespassing, some people in the streets. There was one guy that was arrested for making terroristic threats, and this was yesterday morning. That was in the, get that one pulled up, 600 block of South Charlotte Avenue. Did you hear that? Or is that? Okay, all right. So this was early, maybe about 6:45, 6:30, something like that. 600 block of South Charlotte, inside an apartment. There was a guy that went into, I guess, the mechanical room and was messing with the water, and officers were called. He ended up damaging quite a bit of different items inside there, maybe up to about $10,000 was kind of the rough estimate. He also made a comment about blowing up the building and then harming other people, and so that's where the terroristic threats come from. But he did not, nobody else was harmed and didn't do anything outside of just, I guess, kind of normal vandalism stuff inside that room. But
Was this a business apartment complex?
no, just apartment building is where it was. That hearing?
I don't hear it.
Okay. Obviously, we can hear that in the room, but anything else on that? Okay. Embezzlement, those were cars that were loaned out, and then a report. Family offenses are all reports. Same thing with frauds. Larcenies, I didn't hear of anything big. I didn't have a chance to review those. No big quantities on the narcotics. The pornography, rape, those are all reports. No arrests on those. The robbery, that was a guy that tried to take a cell phone from somebody. Sounds like they sort of know each other, but no weapons were used, and then the victim was able to get the phone back. The sex offenses, one of them is a report. The other was a guy that groped a girl, an adult, I guess, 18-year-old woman. He was arrested for sexual contact. Sexual contact without consent. Simple assaults are more domestics and reports. The unattended deaths, nothing suspicious on those. Vandalisms, I didn't have a chance to review those. Nothing concentrated in one area. The weapons violations, we had, let's see, the first one, that was on Monday afternoon. I think it happened probably the night before, maybe around midnight, but there was some gunshots that somebody had heard. They found a shell casing. That was in the 400 block of South Prairie. Didn't have any reports of damage or injuries. The second one, that was an accidental discharge. A guy was inside his apartment and was handling a gun he thought was unloaded. It went off. No injuries with that. And then the last one, that was some gunshots that were heard somewhere in the area, 26th and Bonson. They weren't really able to pinpoint it down, but didn't have any reports of any damage or injuries from that either. That's it, unless you have anything else. Okay, thanks.